back where we left off. Let's go see if there are any new skills. Oh, gotta check my pen. There you go, pen. So, let's buy some skills with our 5 remaining hope fragments. What does Fine Sword do? Increase sharpness. Okay, speed I don't need. Turning power isn't that useful so far. Jump is fine. Focus gauge, maybe. Time limit. Honestly, after that last trial, it might be useful. Steady aim is useful. Reduces your aiming speed. Increases your aiming speed. Decreases the flow between bullets. Can't do that. Can't use the recovery thing. Bullet capacity. I might want to get that next. So yeah, I'm just gonna hold on for now. Stick with the set I currently have going. Hajime Hinata. Dead. 31 skill slots. I have a lot of influence. Alright. That's all that I'm gonna do. 4. Got my skill set still. Oh shit, yeah, I'm good. Before I do anything, let's go back over the case, because I thought up some new stuff in between now and when I ended off last stream. So, 2 victims, 1 died by choking, 1 got throat slashed. There's blood on Ibuki's shoes, which means she probably died second. There's rope that she hung herself with. They couldn't have... Whoever it was, they couldn't have gotten into Hyoko's room because it was inner key, tough to get out. The scrap of paper was stuck to the baton lighting, which came from the... Oh, we'll get to it in a minute. There's a black curtain. It's not wide enough to reach the sides. It's from the supermarket. Step ladder. Tipped on its side. A bloodstain can be seen on one side. There's a candle. Dim light in the surveillance camera was actually like from the candle. Surveillance camera was completely destroyed. The AC was set to 86. It was extremely hot inside. The bloodstain got wiped up. Something stuck the doors together. Nikon was with Hajime. She was with me the whole time. I remember that. She slept with me. I did not consent. I did not do anything about it. Afterwards, she went to check on everyone and realized Ibuki was gone. She went out. She went and met Fuyuhiko and searched for him. The video I saw at the hospital, someone wearing a hemp bag and whatchamacallit thing. So what I thought was, whoever it is, they used... The video I saw isn't the same video that... It's not coming from the place. It came from upstairs in the hospital. There wasn't a ladder or rope there, but... I don't know. Whoever it was, it seems more than likely that it could have been a pre-made video from inside the hospital and then they got moved or something. Either that or it was someone else doing that live. And then they just made me watch it. But, I don't know. I kind of hope that's not it, because that strongly points towards Mikon being the killer, and I still like her. They went the opposite direction from towards the music place. They were only separated for a short time. They split up! Oh no, it could have been Mikon! He went the long way, she went towards the music place. She's unable to tie it. She went to the full-length mirror, no one... Didn't tell anyone but Sonia, and Sonia only told me. Movie ticket. Date is printed on the ticket. You get 2 bags when you buy it. Scarecrow hung herself, Lion was pumped full of arrows, last one died by getting chopped to pieces. God, I think it's Mikon! I don't want it to be Mikon.
Now victory if you vote correct. I'll punish every... Oh, well.
I don't mind starting the trial, but I don't really have a grasp of how the case played out. You know, because I was asleep the whole time.
You weren't asleep.
Even if you do grasp,
But Nagito's not alone.
you're fine. Your head's empty anyway.
So does that being
Empty head? Listen up. The emptier your head, the more dreams you can stuff inside it, you know?
Keep your shirt on and put on a bra. I'm surrounded by dead girls.
Anyway, we shouldn't proceed. Since he's the first witness, why don't we ask Hajime?
Then, let's start with when we split into the hospital team and motel team because of the despair disease.
Alright.
The hospital team consisted of Nagito, Ibuki, and Akane, who were infected, and Mikan, Fuyuhiko, and me.
Yes. One of the victims.
The other 5 on the motel team were myself, Gundam, Kazuichi, Chiaki, and Hyoko.
Spending the night at the hospital was prohibited, so Hajime and I had to sleep at our cottages.
Correct.
I woke up at my cottage on the day the incident happened. Mikan came by to wake me up and told me that Nagito had recovered from his symptoms.
She didn't just do that, she tried to suffocate me.
We immediately headed over to the hospital,
Alright, you're just gonna
and
leave
after we
that part
confirmed
out.
his recovery,
Well played, Hajime. Well played.
I made Mikan rest in the on-call room, since she hadn't slept all night, while I waited in the hospital lobby. And then, I saw the incoming signal light on the surveillance camera blinking before our scheduled time. When I pressed the button to turn on the monitor, what appeared on screen was a video of someone wearing a hospital gown and a hemp bag on their head, climbing a stepladder.
Amazing! That's such a heart-pounding story! And then what did you do, Hajime?
I tried to stop them, of course. I rushed out of the hospital and ran to where the video was being recorded, the music venue. But it was too late. By the time I arrived, the person wearing the hemp bag on their head was already hanging from the ceiling. I thought I should tell the others right away, so I headed to the motel.
Why the motel?
Because it was close to the music venue, and unlike the hospital, there were more able-bodied people there. At least, that's what I thought. But the only person who came with me was Chiaki.
But I remember feeling a little relieved because not long after, we met up with Mikan and Fuyuhiko.
We were also looking for Ibuki since she disappeared from our sight.
After I rested for a bit, I started counting everyone at the hospital.
Mikan, please, I need you for my autopsy report.
And then I noticed Ibuki was gone, so I sprinted out of the hospital. Coincidentally, I ran into Fuyuhiko, so I pled with him in various ways to see if he could help me out.
Various ways?
Don't say it like that and confuse people.
After I heard from those 2 that Ibuki disappeared, I had a feeling she was the person wearing the hemp bag. So I immediately led them to the music venue.
But the door wouldn't open. Since we had no other option, the 4 of us broke down the door. And when that happened, we didn't just find Ibuki's body. We also found Hyoko's, and not just that. Her body was taped to a pillar.
That's when we heard the body discovery announcement. Not once, but twice in a row.
And so we decided to lower the hanged body, didn't we?
Yup.
When we removed the hemp bag, just as we feared, it was Ibuki.
So that's how the case played out. Thank you. I understood it very easily.
Who did it, Nagito?
Well, it's clear what the problem with this case is. When Hajime left the music venue, who... Wait, how do I know anything Hajime just said is true?
Gah!
Sorry, I'm only being Hajime, if you're the only one who saw that, then you could be lying as much... Lie? Obviously. So you could make... Do you doubt if you're not lying? I would... Come on,
How did I know someone would try to pin the blame on me? Listen, kid, I've got the ticket. I didn't see the movie.
Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
You're suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki hung herself...
That would also be a lie.
I don't think I can deny that possibility. After all, Hajime's the only witness.
Correct?
Why would Hajime lie?
I wouldn't.
Well, obviously, because he's the killer.
No, I'm not.
Did Hajime kill both of them?
No.
The fact that the bodies were imitating the movie.
Wrong. I didn't get the
No,
ticket
that's
until
wrong.
after. You were there, you filthy scrub. Oh, you needed to prove me right.
I'm not the killer. I mean, there's no way I'd be able to imitate that movie.
Of course you're not. I already knew that.
My face is so palmed right now.
Huh?
Before the incident, Hajime had never watched that movie. His invitation ticket is proof of that. Each person only received one ticket, and they're marked with a stamp that shows the date and time. Isn't
13th
that
of
right,
10:04.
Monokuma?
Yes, no mistakes there.
Which means there's no way Hajime, who never saw the movie, could commit murders that imitated it. Or did anyone tell?
Hold on a sec. You're the one who brought this up in the first place.
Correct.
Nagito, what are you doing?
Well, since we're opening with your witness, it also provides a good warm-up.
What warm-up? This isn't a game, you know.
This is a game. It's called Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair.
Don't get mad. I just think warming up is really important.
What a waste of time. Now then, since we know Hajime's testimony is reliable, let us move on to the arguments.
Alright.
So this means Ibuki definitely climbed the stepladder all by herself, right?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Then that seals it. Ibuki committed suicide.
If Ibuki committed suicide,
A murder coincidence.
Like I said before, it's pretty clear what the problem with this case is. The killer murdered Hiyoko while Hajime was gone. So all we gotta do is establish who could have possibly done that.
then let's ask Hajime. How long?
I couldn't have been gone for more than 10 minutes.
So they killed Hiyoko and taped her up within 10 minutes? That's why the killer stalled for time by making the music venue a closed room.
What do you mean, a closed room?
They locked it with a drumstick.
The killer blocked the venue door from the inside.
However, that door is... If they blocked the door from the inside, the killer would not have been able to leave either.
Correct.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Which means, when we broke down the venue door, the killer was still inside.
They were?
If that's the case, the only suspicious people are those who don't have an alibi for that time. And that's you two, Sonia and Kazuichi.
Me too?
What the hell? The others all have alibis. Chiaki, Mikan, Hajime, and I all broke down the venue door together. Gundam met up with Hajime at the motel right before that. And if Akane and Nagito were laid up in the hospital, the only person that leaves is one of you.
There's another person who doesn't have an alibi. You know, Nekomaru. Me too!
Hello?
Hey! What? You're kidding, right? Please stop making...
Anyway, if the killer was hiding inside the venue, we should obviously doubt the people who don't have alibis.
What a wicked way of backing us into a wall! Is this his professional skill?
Sure. Do I have the green goop? Transparent blob?
The killer was still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside,
Hold on.
they tried to keep us from...
Locking the door from the inside. The door doesn't lock, though. Do I have the door? No, the door isn't a piece of evidence. Neither is the drumstick. So it's just the glob.
It seems they were trying to stall for time.
How did they lock the door? That door should not have had a lock.
Correct.
The lock was on the floor in front of the door.
Are you talking about the broken drumstick?
You can use that as a bolt to lock the door. By doing that, the killer who was waited till we gathered together and suddenly appeared.
So they look like they had just... I have seen this in serial crime dramas.
Interesting. What do you have to say? That person's remark contradicts the truth. Okay, which truth? Which bullets do I have
The
again?
killer...
Paper, the stepladder, the surveillance monitor, the motel room key. I think it's the glob, but I don't know where to shoot it.
By locking the door from the inside...
No, they used the
No,
glob.
that's wrong.
Clearly, they used the glob.
Hold on a sec. There's also a possibility that the door was locked from the outside.
From the outside? How?
There was a semi-transparent glob stuck to the venue door. Maybe that's what they used.
Semi-transparent glob.
Probably, I don't know, glue?
I see.
Gummy bear.
That semi-transparent glob must have been glue.
Glue?
Yeah. It had a firm, gel-like chewiness, and I could smell workshop chemicals the moment I put it in my mouth.
She ate glue.
Based on all that, I'm certain it was glue.
I didn't know glue was edible.
She spat it out, don't worry.
I believe it is not something one typically eats.
That glue was only applied to the areas where both doors touched. By pouring it in the gaps of the closed door, they must have sealed the venue door from the outside.
Correct.
And thanks to that, a glob of glue was left where the door was stuck. Yep, it fits perfectly. But if you just stick them together with glue, that doesn't really matter. The killer only did that to make us think the door was locked from
So
the
the
inside.
drumstick was a bait.
What'd you say?
First of all, didn't that drumstick we found seem really obvious?
Yep.
It was so obvious that it makes more sense to think the killer placed it as a diversion.
Genius.
Are you saying the drumstick was a trap the killer set on purpose? Then I totally fell for that fucking trap.
Me too.
Apologize to Miss Sonia. And me.
In a quarrel, both sides.
So, during the 10 minutes Hajime left the venue, the killer murdered Hiyoko and created a closed space?
No, the times of death aren't determined, so it's...
And they also taped her up after killing her, right?
Even quick work has limits.
Oh, what unimaginable speed for a slowpoke like me.
Mikan?
If they couldn't have done it while Hajime was away from the venue, they must have done it earlier than that.
But when Hajime got to the
And when you went back, but it's possible that the body was just revealed at that time, when Hiyoko was actually killed earlier. Of course, the body wasn't revealed on its own. Here, I have...
That scrap of paper.
That's right, but...
Shoot, what am I doing? Hangman's Gambit? What was there a piece of paper? Is it a curtain? Shoot, wallpaper? Hey, wallpaper! I need 2 L's. Stat. So many letters! Shoot, I just got rid of what I needed. E. Woo! It was wallpaper.
I got it!
God, there were so many letters.
That's scrap. Isn't it part of the wallpaper in the storage room?
So they put wallpaper over the thing.
In the music venue storage room, there was also a tear along the edge of the wallpaper, wasn't there? If so,
You're right. If you overlay the scrap that was caught on the lighting with the tear in the wallpaper, see? It fits perfectly.
You bring it in?
I see. So the scrap that was caught on the baton lighting was originally part of the wallpaper.
And what's wrong with that?
A mere nobody like me is... But if you guys were exceptional...
What's going on? Oh, we're diving. Oh god, I gotta jump! This is difficult. Oh my gosh, they upgraded the difficulty since last time. Question 1. It was hidden. Oh god! Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ah! Question 2. What did the killer use to hide the body? The wallpaper. Because the curtain's not big enough. Oh god. Ah! Question 3. They covered the pillar. Is that it? Yes! It's hidden by the wallpaper.
It's all coming together.
Piece of cake.
I got it. Hyoko's body was hidden before we found it.
But it would have taken quite a...
No, the body was already taped up and the killer hid it, along with the pillar using the wallpaper.
What? They hid the pillar?
Yes!
Yeah, by wrapping the wallpaper around the pillar, the killer was able to create a slightly larger pillar.
Correct!
So when I first discovered Ibuki's body, Hyoko's body was already there.
I just couldn't see it.
However, because it was concealed within a slightly larger pillar, I didn't realize that at the time.
Oh
Well, that's
no!
understandable.
There's only one
I mean,
person we know who
it
went
makes
by
sense
it.
that
So they used the baton lighting on the ceiling to hang the wallpaper?
the baton
No.
lighting forms a perfect circle around the pillar. So using it to hang the wallpaper totally fits.
Then the reason the wallpaper was...
That's how they hid Hyoko's
Econ.
body. And then
But the killer made a mistake, and because of that, a scrap was left on the baton lighting.
The killer must have been in a hurry. Their plan took too long. Hajime could have walked in on them.
Econ, why?
Going to the
But the crime itself would be much easier to pull off. They just have to peel off that wallpaper and stash it in the storage room. It's not that big of a deal.
Then, when was Hyoko actually killed?
Good point. It's about time we shed some light on those imitation murders.
You mentioned...
Are you kidding me? You haven't...
Hey! Don't put my likeness in your movies without my permission!
You're pretty noisy for someone who eats mothballs.
Ooh!
I don't eat mothballs. I just enjoy looking at them. I knew it!
Ibuki's death by hanging matches the Scarecrow's death from the movie.
But other than that, nothing matches.
Not just that, but Hyoko getting taped up after her death matches the lion's death.
It's as if both crimes were replicas of scenes from the movie, although the mutilated Tin Man was omitted.
But why did the killer go to all this trouble?
Based on what we know, the reason the
Mix up the order.
I see.
Just like in the first game.
The reason the killer imitated two of the murders from the movie was so he'd mix up the killing order.
Then, Hyoko was actually killed before Ibuki?
Like, getting Ibuki to die is a piece of cake since he became super gullible.
A valid line of reasoning.
Yeah, it's valid. The condition of Ibuki's body suggests that as well.
Yeah, her
What
shoes.
do you mean? If you're going to cry and beg like that,
I'm not...
I'll
not
let
crying.
you sob as much as you want later. Just
He
what a
doesn't know what's going
Oh, I
on.
see. You want me...
And even bigger.
Look, Ibuki died because she hanged herself, right? That means when she was still alive, her feet were touching the floor.
Correct.
What's wrong with that?
But It seems Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was killed. That would mean Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki.
Correct.
How? You're a
Man, he's being...
first and
Guys, let
foremost.
me show you the shoes.
How can a low-class...
Because she was doing something that's only...
It seems you...
You're one...
There's blood on the shoes. Blood on the soles.
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
Correct.
I am telling you to present your evidence.
Did you see her walking?
If her feet were on... Was there any sign she stepped on something?
Yes! I agree with
with
your
that.
statement. Finally, I can agree with Sonia.
Just as Sonia said, Ibuki stepped on something. That something was
What's
blood.
blood?
There were faint blood stains on the soles of her slippers.
That is not Ibuki's blood, right? She suffered no external injuries.
Correct.
Then it's Hiyoko's blood.
Correct.
Hyoko's only wound was a fatal slice on her neck. And she died almost instantly, right?
Correct.
If Ibuki stepped on her blood...
It means Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was mortally wounded. Which means Ibuki was still alive at the exact moment Hiyoko was killed.
Don't underestimate the power of the evil eye.
God damn it, Tanaka.
Is that it?
Does that mean
Does that mean you have a rebuttal? But are you sure? You're so frightened you can't even... However, the time...
Damn it, Gundam. What swords do I have? What's he gonna be arguing about? Rope, key, stepladder. Oh my god, there's so much!
You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet belonged to Hiyoko?
No, I missed.
Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no... You can't step on blood that was never there.
Oh shoot, I don't even have to go through
Just about what... Did you see a nice nightmare?
Okay.
You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet... Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on the floor.
It got wiped
Allow
up,
me
you
to cut
filthy
through
scrub!
those words! That's not it. The reason there was no blood on the floor is because the killer wiped it away afterward.
Don't say such...
Yes,
I have
if you look
proof.
closely, there's a streak on the floor where blood was wiped away.
Correct.
When the killer tried to hide Hyoko's body, they probably cleaned the blood at the same time, but Ibuki must have already stepped in it, and the killer probably didn't even realize it.
The reason they wiped off the blood on the floor. Even if they're able to hide Hyoko's body, it'd be bad if her blood was left out in the open.
Plus, Ibuki's body was left out in the open.
And it
it
wasn't
wasn't bleeding
bleeding.
from any open wounds at all.
Hyoko's body was probably wrapped in duct tape to stop her bleeding.
Actually, the bleeding will stop once the heart stops beating. So I don't think they had to go that far.
Econ.
Aside from Mikon, none of us were aware of that fact, so the killer probably did not know it either.
Maybe the heater...
That's right! I didn't know the time of death because of the heater!
If the time of death wasn't mentioned in the Monokuma file just to keep concrete evidence from us.
Yep. Since we have all this, then it's decided. Hyoko was killed before Ibuki.
It appears that it is wiser to retreat for now.
Smart Tanaka.
Fine then, but regardless of good or evil, there's no deceit in upholding one's convictions.
What do you mean?
Can't you just shut up and back off?
I'm with Soda on this
Now
one.
then, let us resume our debate.
Wait a sec. There's something I want to run by Monokuma first.
Again?
Hey, if the victim actually committed suicide, what are we supposed to do?
Suicide.
The same as always. You have to vote for who the killer is. Think about it. A suicide means you've killed the most important existence of all, yourself. Unfortunately, that means there's no Blacken to punish, but I guess in a pinch, I can always punish Monami.
Why me?
Nagito? What do you mean?
Well, I understand Hyoko's death. For example, it's possible Ibuki killed Hyoko, and then committed suicide due to a guilty conscience, right?
I assume that's possible, but then there'd be no one to hide the body.
That's totally impossible. Then
She was afflicted by the despair.
But if Ibuki's the killer, she wouldn't have been able to falsify the sequence of the murders, right?
Correct.
After Hajime saw the hanged body, The sudden appearance of Hiyoko's body soon after means the killer had to be alive at that time.
Then she was alive. When Hajime first discovered Ibuki, she was just pretending to be dead.
Yes, pretending to be dead, with a rope around her neck, hanging with a stepladder on the floor.
If she waited until Hajime left,
She hanged herself. Remember? There's no fucking way she could have faked
I'm
that.
glad someone understands.
If she was going to fake her death, I think she wouldn't have chosen hanging.
Yep.
Her body would have been defenseless in that state. If anyone touched her, that alone would have ruined her plan.
there's no doubt that someone killed. What the?
Good.
There's still one more issue on my mind. If Ibuki didn't commit suicide,
Yeah, what happened to the video?
according to
fake.
that video, then does that mean
Forrest?
I don't know anything?
Don't say it all.
Putting that as...
So, then our plan is to destroy the weakest alibi. Since Hajime has seen the video, it is...
But just to be sure, that surveillance camera doesn't have a record function, right?
It's a cheap-ass surveillance camera, you know? There's no way it'd have some kind of sweet recording feature.
Then, the video...
What time?
I saw it at the hospital, right before Monokuma's morning announcement.
It's about
And I saw the body at the music venue a little after Monokuma's
it's
announcement.
around 7.
So Ibuki... And since we established that Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki, that means the time that the murders occurred was before and during the announcement.
Then, we just have to find the...
Now then, I shall issue my decree.
Alright. Destroy the weakest alibi. Unfortunately, I know who has the weakest alibi. What is Mikan's alibi again? He was with me the whole time. Right up until the announcement. She was with me the whole time. Okay. What else do I have? Sonia's account, movie ticket, surveillance, camera unit. I think it's Mikan's account.
And what about the others?
Right before the morning announcement,
Correct?
I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
Sure?
I think everyone at the motel was doing that.
Correct? I'd buy
So
that.
everyone who stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi.
Right?
What about you guys?
I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
Okay.
That's not an alibi.
Aside from those afflicted by the disease, if nobody has an alibi, then...
I have an alibi.
No, that's wrong.
Hold on. Not all of us are missing an alibi. In fact, Mikan and I both have alibis.
You two have alibis?
Up until I saw that hanging video, Mikan and I were actually together for a while.
We even woke up together that morning.
Hey, what kind of situation is that?
Oh, Soda. If only you had decided to stay at the hotel instead of me. Or the hospital instead of me. I woke up twice with, what's her face? Mikan on top of me.
I accidentally fell asleep on top of Hajime. Too much info.
Jealous! She's jealous!
Yeah, it's not like that. She just came to tell me Nagato's condition had improved.
And we went to the hospital together after.
I get it.
If that's the case,
It's better if we think about it like that.
Chiaki! Oh, God, no! I don't want it to be Mikan, but it's totally Mikan!
The killer decided to falsify the murder sequence to hide the actual time of the crime anyway.
Okay, so let me try to spell out what happened. She took Ibuki. No, she didn't take Ibuki anywhere yet. She was doing something. I don't know why she killed Hiyoko, but she was in the music place that night. Possibly with Ibuki, possibly not. And Hiyoko was there. They probably talked or something, and then Mikan cut her throat. Cleaned up the stuff duct taped her to the thing, and had to try to come up with a thing. Maybe at that point she had Ibuki hang herself too, and then she took the camera with her so that she could send a fake video from the upstairs room in the hospital. Because there are two bags. One of them would have been on Ibuki at that time, and if she had the other because she bought it, then she totally could have faked someone climbing up the thing. That means that she probably stole Akane's outfit to do it. She went up to the second floor, had another rope prepared, and pretended to be the one dying in the music place. After that, when Fuyuhiko showed up, they went their separate ways. She told him to take the long way around while she went to the crime scene, took off the thing, destroyed the stuff she brought with her, the monitoring cameras, and then set everything up, glued the door shut, and then met up with everyone else. That's what I think happened. Whether or not I'm right is completely random at this point, but that's what I think makes the most sense.
So it's inevitable that an alibi for both before and during the morning announcement would be very important.
It feels like
But committing an faking the time the crime occurred by falsifying the murder sequence, hiding their alibi in the process. Was that the only reason the killer made both bodies imitate the movie?
Are you saying there was
another
I
reason?
feel really bad for I think the killer had a completely different reason.
You're still the killer's trap? Interesting. Alright. That usually means we're about halfway there, and I think I'm right. Unfortunately.
Hiya!
Stop it!
Chance time. Mondomi's appeal time starts now. Kind of click on her. Show those jerks who treated you like a red-headed stepchild who's boss. 99% your fault. You're winding your time starting out. 30,000 words. Merchandise.
What a disappointment!
Alright.